forget the things we want for our city and for our kids, especially for our kids to enjoy our parks. So thank you again for being here.
Also with us today is Councilman Ole Contos.
Thank you so much. I am so excited that you guys turned out. You saw the video, you saw all the things that we've been doing. The reason why it is so exciting that you are here is because you get to all join forces with all of us in making the biggest difference possible. Community engagement is the key, and with all of you here, especially the kids, we are going to rock, especially as we move ahead and move forward with this process. So welcome everybody, we're excited that you're here, and we here are here to listen. So thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Introductions of very important people, some of the members of our staff. With us this evening is also our city manager, Paulina Morales. Our superintendent of public works, Mr. Mike Cressup. Our director of public safety, Myla Morakich. With the city clerk, Lisa Sherrick. Community Services, Susie Perez. With us this evening, representing the Office of Blanca Rubio, Wendy Saavedra. Alright, thank you so much. Zach, the show is yours.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The show's not actually mine, it's yours. I'm going to be doing a lot of listening tonight and hearing your thoughts and ideas. Before we begin, a couple housekeeping things. Restrooms are out this door, right to the left towards the basketball courts, just before the basketball courts. On the left-hand side, you'll find the restrooms. I have with me my project manager, Kristen Schnell, in the back. She is my right hand. Yes, she deserves it. She's amazing. Without her, she handles everything from the beginning to the end. She will be at everything. She's walked through the parks. She knows all the facilities. She's amazing to have with us on our team tonight. Also, did everybody get a blue ticket?
I did. I lost mine.
Okay, hold on to those because at the end I have a special thank you, which we'll be using for those. As I mentioned, we're going to go through a brief presentation, a little bit of background, what is the Park and Recreation Master Plan. I'll do a short presentation, and then I'm going to go around, we're going to start listening after that. So without further ado, I'm going to go through my presentation. Please hold all your questions till the end because we do have quite a few people here in the room tonight. This is a long process. We're going to go through 8 or 9 hours tonight. That wasn't a joke. It is a long process. It's a year-long process. Tonight's just don't worry. Tonight's only a few questions, but most importantly is I get to listen to you. And I get to share information. What I get to share tonight is a little bit of the process of what is a Park and Recreation Master Plan. Well, it's a tool, it's a guide, an implementation tool based on the community's input, the local community needs on what types of parks and recreation facilities you want to see now and in the future. With this roadmap, the city can then begin planning where, what, and when to implement different elements based on community support. That's one of the strongest tools of this document, is it's based on your thoughts and ideas. Not mine, not what I think you need, not what a national standard is from Texas or Detroit or wherever in the world. No, it's based here on your local community needs. So your turnout tonight is amazing. This process is going to be broken up, as I mentioned, over about the course of a year in 5 stages. The first stage, inventory of existing conditions. As I mentioned earlier, we go through all the parks and facilities. We look at what you have. And then we go through an extensive community engagement process where we ask you what you want. With those 2 elements of the scales, we can then balance a needs assessment. What's missing in between? And from there, I develop the recommendations based on that inventory, your information, what you need and want. And then we develop funding and implementation strategies. How do we actually get it? How do we pay for it? Got to pay for everything in this world. Everything has a price tag. How much is it going to cost? How much do we need to go forward? How do we get there? Here's our timeline. You can see we're here at the very beginning, May 2025. We're going to go through several different workshops as we go through them. Please come back. My jokes will be the same. I apologize. After 30 years, I don't have any new ones. But the information that I share will change because at each workshop as we go along, I'm going to share more information. And then at each workshop as we go along, I'm going to ask different questions. So they build upon one another as we go through. It creates that dialogue with the community. So I get to read, see, and hear everything from the community. After we've gone through that engagement process, then we'll start to go into our report development and analysis of what we heard. Also part of that background research, kind of that beginning point when we go through the inventory, we look at the existing documentation. What's been written so far? We look at the general plan. We look at the past planning, zoning, land use maps. We look at the 2025 budget that's currently published. All the information, so that way we're not just recreating the wheel. We look at what you have, so that way we can accurately go forward into the future. One of the things I do before we start our project is we look at the community demographics. We look at the location of community profiles. We look at the age profiles, and we see that there's just over 106,000 population here. There's a median household of 40.1, average household size of 3.1, and the largest population demographic is between the ages of 35 to 64. That's 39%. We see the next one, the next largest population size, 23%, is from 19 to 34. Now this is just one lens, if you will, of the planning and analysis that we're going to do. This gives us just a snapshot of what might we see in terms of demand for recreation facilities or programs. As I mentioned, part of that inventory as well too, we go through all of the facilities, all of the parks. You can see here, we've mapped out 16 parks as we go through, distributed throughout the community of various sizes and types and facilities. Also those community centers, the facilities themselves spread throughout the community. There's 8 of them here. And I will say, after doing this for so many years, this is the best distribution I've seen yet. They're not all clumped in one area. They're actually spread out across the community. So just for the development of the city, I give it pretty good props right there because we're already starting off on the right foot. And then that background inventory, we look at the programs. Because the other side of facilities is actually utilizing those facilities, utilizing the parks, programming them. What programs have been offered over the last 2 years? How's the attendance rates been? Are people utilizing the programs? Are there programs I might hear from the community that don't exist? And I balance those scales as we go along through this process. Then we go to the extensive community engagement portion. That's where we'll go through stakeholder interviews. We'll go through a statistically valid multimodal survey. If you get a call from somebody asking you to take a survey for the Park and Recreation Master Plan, please, from the bottom of my heart, take that survey. It's going to be about 8 or 9 minutes long. But that's okay. Don't do it at a stoplight though. It's longer than a stoplight. I've had people tell me that. It was longer than a stoplight. Please don't take it while you're driving. If you do get a call, please take that. We'll also have 3 in-person community workshops, and then we're going to have 3 online virtual workshops as well too, replicating the same thing for people who didn't make it tonight. After tonight, actually live right now, on our project website, I'll show you, there will be a virtual survey, my presentation again here, just minus the jokes that I've added in. They usually cut those out because we get so many people now. So it will be online, and then that will be available for anybody who didn't come to the workshop. So tonight, I would encourage you, as we go to that slide, take a picture of it. I'll flag that, and I'll say, everybody take a picture of this. So that way you can share it with your friends, your neighbors. The more people who take part in this, the better our recreation system starts to build. And I can tell right now, you are an active community for showing up tonight. You want to have your voices heard, and I love that. The last one I'm going to talk about here is the project website. So we're at the very beginning of this process. That presentation is going to get longer and longer each time I do it. But take a picture of this one. This is the project website. On here, you can actually find out what the survey results are. So as we complete stages, I'll post them. As we go through and we do workshop announcements, we'll post them here. If you find that we've done a survey, we've done an outreach effort, and you want to share more information with me, There's a button on that website. Provide your feedback. You click on that, you can write anything you want to me. It's an open-ended question. You can click several times. You can share a lot of information with me that way if we're in between surveys. So at any point in time, you always have a voice in this process. I'd also take a picture of this website, this page here too. This one is that survey link. Now it's also posted on the project website to make it easy, because there's no way I would remember that URL. That's like computer code. But it's much easier on the project website. It says click here, I believe. You just click there, and there you go. You're right into the survey. So with that, westcovinaparksmasterplan.com, please share it with your friends. Share it with your neighbor. If I can get everybody in this room to share it with 1 or 2 people, we're going to start building this community. We're going to start building the outreach effort that will drive the needs and desires for this Park and Recreation Master Plan. Now, before I begin and I start listening, I would like to ask a question, because we have such a good turnout here tonight. I'm asking an impromptu question. How did you hear about this workshop tonight? Did you raise your hand if you heard it through an online web search, like Google or the city website? Raise your hand if you heard it online. All right. No kickers. Okay. Email. No email. 1 email. That's okay. Don't be shy. Raise your hand. Okay, 1 email. Social media. There we go. A paper flyer or a poster.
Does that count?
That counts, yeah.
That's the only way we do it.
All right, I love paper and posters. They are still tried and true. They'll never leave us. Word of mouth, family or friends. There we go. Not everybody raised their hand. Okay, Bonnie, how'd you hear about us?
From our neighbors,
From neighbors.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
other neighbors.
Other neighbors, I like it.
Yeah.
City council meeting.
City council meeting. Raise your hand for city council meeting. Oh, good turnout in council meetings. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yes, DC.
I wanted to ask a clarifying question, Zach. Do I understand that each one of the workshops is going to be different, building on everything that you've heard before, so therefore we need to schedule attendance of all?
What DC just asked me is each workshop different. You repeat further here. But each workshop is different. Each workshop is different. Please come to each of them. They will build on each other. So the workshop tonight is going to be different than workshop number 2. The online virtual portion, starting tonight, will be the same as workshop 1 tonight. And it will last 2 weeks. After that, it's going to close. Then workshop 2 will be entirely different. Please come to that one. The online portion for workshop 2 will be the same for workshop 2. So that way we get an in-person and an online for workshop 1, in-person and online for workshop 2, and in-person and online for workshop 3. Please come to all 3 of them. They build on each other. That way we can have that kind of dialogue, that two-way dialogue as we go forward. Where they hear, we might change some of the questions and try and probe different elements of the things that we're hearing from the community. Right now, I don't have any community input from you. So if you were to say, Zach, what's going to be in the report? I couldn't tell you. All I have is the demographics, and I would never plan a community solely based on demographics. I plan it based on the community's participation, what they're looking for, what the community's told me, the condition of facilities, several different data points. So it's really important that you come back. Without further ado, because I want to make sure I'm respectful to your time tonight, because I'm going to go around and I'm going to count 1 through 8. Now, please remember your numbers, because I won't. It's only 8 numbers, but it looks like we've probably got 80 people here. So, if you'll notice, each table has a number on it. When you get your number, you're going to go find the corresponding table and introduce yourself to your new neighbors. And then we're going to go ahead and start listening. So I'm going to start over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. DC 1, 2, 2, right here, here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is all together. I want your 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I got everybody. If you would please go to the sports on the table, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
The mic didn't work for you guys? The mic didn't work for you guys?
Oh, I guess he probably just said it. Is he not here in the back?
You got it. 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 That's all the way I've ever been able to get the ball. That one was fun. That was one of my best touch yet. We have a special bit tonight. I don't typically do, but we have some youth with us tonight. They brought some of their own statements they wanted to share about parks. So if I could, I'm going to ask everybody to listen to this mic. It's still not working. So we're going to make sure that they use their deep voices, right? We're going to talk nice and loud. Come on up here. You guys, come on up here. Let's give them a round of applause for all right, this is Benjamin. Benjamin's going to go first. We're just going to take a couple minutes to do this. Benjamin, tell us. Go ahead, start, buddy. Nice and loud.
So, one time I was in the park, I was playing on the playground, but then I realized something that I realized the big grassy lawn. It was used for nothing. So I realized I kind of wanted to add some things to it. So here's one thing that I would add. I would add that. There's lots of things. It's starting really but there's no one. You can't go outside to do things yourself. So that's great. I don't know. Second, I would add a pickleball player. I like playing with the ball, basically. Then I would add a baseball player. I love baseball. I kind of like to I like that. Well, maybe not. Not everything baseball. Sometimes it's softball, stuff like that. Last, I would add a soccer player. I like it. Baseball does. A lot of people love soccer. I sometimes watch soccer. Maybe once, maybe twice. Or sometimes. That's the fourth thing that I would add to family park.
Next one, come on up. Sit right there. Nice and loud, Olivia.
Hello, my name is Olivia Ramirez, and my speech is called Makes Parks Better. The other day, I was running around in Cameron Park, and I noticed a big grassy lawn. A few weeks later, I was told that we were able to expand any park we would like and add any funding we would want. I had realized I was the oldest kid at Cameron Park. So I thought, maybe we could have a rock climbing area, a place for selling snacks, or even a skateboard park. A skateboard park would be fun because many people own skateboards and there's nowhere to skate. A snack place would be good because not many people bring snacks to parks, so if we sold snacks there, it would make a lot of money for the park and it would make people happy. And lastly, I think the climbing area would be fun because lots of people like climbing, including me. So maybe it could be helpful for people with very young children. Some of my ideas may not be cut out for the park. I still hope you take my ideas into consideration. Thank you.
Who's next?
Okay.
That's okay. I did that earlier. That's. Nothing tough, buddy. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my opinion on how we can improve our parks. Creating parks will give everyone, big or small, a chance to enjoy the outdoors with the people and animals they love. Yeah, my idea of the greatest park would be a place where everyone can have fun, no matter special needs, such as organized sports events adapted for kids with mobility challenges, or sensory-friendly events for kids to talk to. Therapy puppies get interactive, supportive environment. These small, meaningful additions can create memories and friendships that last a lifetime. I also have to mention our pets. Our pets are family. It would be great to have space for them to play. It would be great to have obstacles closer to them, or maybe the splash pad too. Then you can have adoption events where you can adopt a pet and give them a forever home. By making these additions, we wouldn't just be improving our parks, we would be strengthening our sense of community. We would be showing that every person, every pet, and every family matters, and that our public spaces reflect kindness, creativity, and inclusivity that define who we are. Thank you for listening and considering ways that we can build a better, more joyful environment for everyone.
Sophia's next.
Hello, my name is Sophia Ramirez, and I'm in high school. And I'm probably the oldest one here. And I was thinking, no one else my age only ever goes to the parks. And I was thinking ways that other students might want to go. I noticed that in many teachers' classrooms there are skateboards that no one uses. So I was thinking at Cameron Park, we can add a skateboard for you. I mean, I've never skated before, but it is exciting. I mean, learning new things is awesome. So that's why I think that adding a skate park into Cameron Park is going to be awesome. Thank you for considering my idea.
Who's next? Zoe?
Hi, my name is Zoe. I live here in West Virginia, and in my opinion, I think parks are very important. They give people a space to hang out and have fun. I love parks, but I would love to see more fun activities in the parks, especially this week. I love the water. I would like to have a track because I need to go with it. A designated space would be nice. Another idea I got is to make a splash pad for kids to use during the summer. Some kids, like me, who don't have a pool or a place to put down and have fun. So, a splash pad would be enjoyable. I would also like to see more pathways that lead up to different areas of the park. I would also like to have more nicer and updated picnic areas for parks and gatherings. But once we are really good. I also noticed that there are not many benches where parents can sit down and watch their children play. It is important that there are benches near the play areas for safety reasons. This can prevent a child from walking away or being kicked. But in order to have fun at any park, it needs to be clean and safe. I would like to see cleaner parks. Clean parks are enjoyable. We do not want to see a park that is not clean and enjoyable. Another concern of mine is that there are many homeless people in the parks. This can make it uncomfortable to enjoy the park. Sometimes I worry about having to go to the restroom because I would want someone to do it. Sometimes there are homeless people sitting underneath the structures. One thing that can be done to help with this situation is to have defensive lighting. I know my parents do not want me to say this. But I think it is important to make parks safe for families to enjoy. Perhaps maybe we could do benches with dividers installed into the house. Also add more friends running around the park so people get a sense of a more sense of security. People don't usually listen to what kids talk, but I hope that if we're asking for what we want, you guys actually do. And it is important to us, and that's why I love it.
Hi, my name is Sophia Medina, and I want to propose something. You see, a lot of our parks aren't as safe as they could be. Oftentimes, my mom takes me to the park, and we have to leave due to some people smoking things they should not be smoking around kids, and hanging out in the playground or table. We have to leave because we do not feel safe. This happened at Cameron Park and Walmarado Park. I wish we had some sort of security or patrol. Another wish is a skate park at Cameron Park and some outdoor basketball courts. A volleyball net is one of our parts. A volleyball net is one of the things that the parks would be amazing to have as well. Or a skate park where that big empty concrete area is. I also think that there should be more basketball courts. Lastly, I think Shadow Oak Park is so green, and even though it's beautiful, it needs to have different activities to have fun. Some of these activities can be like a dog park, a soccer field, and benches, and picnic tables. The youth can get exercise, fresh air, and enjoy the parks. In conclusion, I hope I have inspired you to consider helping the youth of West Covina. I appreciate you taking the time to hear me out. Thank you.
All right.
Imagine you on a hot day. Wouldn't you want to go to a splash park? Well, parks like Covina Park, Del Norte Park, and Covina Park are just a few of the many parks with water features in West Covina. Now, we need one in Cameron Park. According to waterodyssey.com, there are child, community, and governmental benefits to spray parks. Today, we'll be able to dive a little further into all the many benefits and advantages on parks with water features, or spray parks. When you think about parks, you often picture children having fun while playing in the park. Spray parks can bring kids lots of joy and benefits. The previously mentioned waterodyssey.com informs water playgrounds bring kids closer with nature and outside, away from the electronics. It's also a fun way to cool down while being active at the same time, especially when summer's getting here. NRPA.org notes children can enhance their creativity, reflexes, motor skills, coordination, and intuition with the help of interacting water features. Furthermore, splash pads can help kids use teamwork and the ability to use their 5 senses. Hopefully you don't have to review those 5 senses. Just checking. Now, how do spray parks benefit communities? Based on waterodyssey.com, spray park encourages socialization with evidence of people inviting each other to play with them. Additionally, spray parks is another option to engage in entertainment other than the same old ones. What's more, NRP.org states, spray parks include and consider as many people as possible, no matter the age or physical or mental ability. How significant is that? At last, the governmental benefits. As indicated in waterodyssey.com, a splash pad can change its purpose depending on each season. Also, the water usage can be reduced on the type of splash pad chosen. Level surface and sensory features can make spray parks fun for children, families, and adults with disabilities as well. As explained by NRP.org, spray parks that are well designed attract businesses, which improves the town's or government's tax base and can lift property values. Given all the children, community, and governmental benefits, having a spray park in West Covina would be very treasured. Now, in a different point of view, imagine you on a hot day. Wouldn't you be enjoying yourself at a spray park, engaging with others, and most importantly, having fun?
Public speaking, as I have been told several times, is the #1 fear around the planet. These kids have no fear. Well done, guys. Well done.
And I just wanted to say that these kids did their own speeches over spring break. So these were their ideas, their thoughts, and they're awesome.
Well done. Well done. Stand right here, and look that way.
There we go. So get everybody in the background there. There we go. Get in there, Zach. Get in there. Okay, here we go. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right.
Well done, guys. Well done. All right. You're already the best community now. After 3 years, I have not seen that. That was amazing. I'm somewhat intimidated now by their ability to speak. Without further ado, what we're going to do now is listen. I'm going to pass out all my associate MC paper. What you should have at your table are a set of pens, a notepad, and then I'm going to pass these out. Now on this sheet, there's 2 critical questions. The first one is name. Nobody's allowed to get this one wrong. Just first name works. Please write your name and your group number at the top of this. Please raise your hand if you don't have enough pens at your table. If you have any extras, please put them in the center of the table and we'll get them. Does anybody need any pens? Any pens? All right. As many of you have already guessed, this is an individual exercise, so it should be pretty exciting. For this first question, what I would like you to do is put your name at the top of the page, your group number, and then the first question is, do you live in the city of West Covina? Yes or no? How many years have you lived in the city of West Covina? And then, how long have you been participating or utilizing services in West Covina? Even if you don't live here, how long have you been participating? And then, I would like you to take a few minutes, we're going to take 5 minutes to answer the first question, officially at the bottom here. What are the most important community characteristics that make the city of West Covina a great place to live, work, and play? 5 minutes. Everybody has a perfect solution. Oh, we need 2 here. I'll get this. Okay, all right, 5 minutes. There are no wrong answers. There are no wrong answers on these surveys. Couple more minutes. No looking on your neighbor's paper. Okay, as I hear some of the voice chatter creep up, it sounds like people are finishing. You see a large black marker on all of the tables. Let's get inventory check grid. Hold up that large black marker, if you would please. Hold it up, okay, the marker for this group. Those holding the marker, thank you for volunteering. Yes, enjoy the next workshop. You won't be taking the marker, thank you. My brother-in-law, Captain Corporal Police in the city, said, Zachary, you only volunteer once in our armed forces. After that, you go on told what to do the rest of your life. I said, that sounds very familiar. Volunteers, thank you for volunteering. You only have to volunteer once. After this, you may pass the torch, or the flag, so to speak. What we're going to do now is I would like you volunteers introduce yourselves to the table, and as a table, as a group, we're going to come up with the top 3 characteristics that make this city a great place to live, work, and play. As a group, top 3. So, those holding up the marker, we have large format poster boards for you here at each table. Spelling does not count, do not worry. Please, as a group, come up with your top 3 characteristics that make this city a great place to live, work, play. We'll take 10 minutes for this.
Which part you go to, you will find the motion. When I got everybody drives.
Okay, volunteers, got something. Completely slipped my mind. Everybody's attention. Volunteers, I forgot the last element of volunteering, if you will. The last piece of volunteering is you have to read your top three. So, not in any order, I'm going to ask everybody to turn their attention over here to group 2, and group 2's volunteer. All right, say that here next to me. And tell me, what is group 2's top 3 characteristics that make the city a great place to live, work, and play?
We talked about it prior to writing anything down, but I think the overall sense of it.
Nice and loud, nice and loud.
Our top 3 is safe city, which means safety, police department, and everything required for safety.
Parks, schools, and safety.
Then also number 2, central locations. Where is downtown West Covina? So the shopping center, but original, we really don't have a central West Covina. So how are we gonna fix that? I don't know. Maybe the kids have better. Then safe schools and shopping centers. I think most of us who were talking about shopping and now you had the Eastern Shopping Center, now you got Westfield and everything else. So where do we shop? But what's the main important thing is you want to keep everything within your city, so your tax and everything comes here.
All right.
And good school.
Let's give group 2 a round of applause. Okay, group number 1.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see this in the back, but group number 1, I'm going to keep my eye, for the rest of the night, I'm going to stand over here for group 1. Who's our volunteer here? This is it. Come on up. Please get me. Present your group's top 3 community characteristics here.
Well, I think we have a lot of diversity of different type of parks, and some on the hills, the flat areas. It's well spread out across the city. I like the dog parks, I visit all of them. This is where I take my dog and my son. We play a lot. So, well, I think the diversity in the parks is pretty good. And I like the activities also over here. So, we have all these like basketball and all for the little kids to have them be active and go out there and have fun. So that is all over the district, so it's beautiful.
And it's not only for children, they also have a lot of activities for senior citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Cortez Park,
Yeah.
Shadow Cast program.
Okay.
Right. And also we like the people district, the school district. As you saw, they did an awesome. One of my boy was the one speaking. So I'm just proud of what they have done for us and how that's a joy. So.
Well, wonderful. You had 3 more. What are the last 3 on there?
I like the community involvement. I like us to get more involved with one another in each of our day-to-day lives, like, and the city. This city is pretty safe compared to other areas. I work in downtown Los Angeles. I don't want to be there. I'm not going to live there. So this is a nice, safe city. And what it also would, if we could get, is a little bit more lively restaurants. We do have a lot. Don't get me wrong, but we need more.
All right, let's get your vote around.
All right, so our top 3 that we chose were, we have unique neighborhoods. And what we meant by that is that there are places in the city that are unique to other places in the city. For example, Bridge Rider. So this is an expression, a sentence that currently exists within our city, but it's not properly used.
It's not new.
No, we had a
35-year resident didn't know it was coming.
Yeah. So not a lot of residents are aware that this exists in the neighborhood. But we are a unique neighborhood. That was top one. Number 2, the walking and hiking trails. We do have a lot of hiking trails that people might not be aware of. And number 3, we said the social offerings at community centers for youth and seniors.
Wonderful. Well done. Let's give Rich a round of applause. Let's give Ruby our attention here.
We started with nature, pollinators, animals, and native plants.
So connection to nature, we want a connection to nature. Stewarding, learning about stewardship in the garden. So places that have, so places that have leaves, special leaves.
And
Horse property and facilities, sportsplex, and freeway clubs.
Number 5. Your top 3 here.
So we had senior sport activities, we all came up quite a bit. Our maintenance, Bridge Rider Investment Center, maintaining that. Also a lot of the parks, traditional parks in the streets. And the last one was city and school engagement. Since a lot of the parks were actually designed to be schools, both the school district and the city are doing a good job of teaching them.
Centralized location, it's in between the main freeway and Cincy. About an hour away from the mountains, an hour away from the beach. It's perfect location, about an hour away for an hour and a half to the desert, so great location. I think the way I understood, we only have one of those softball teams. From that tonight, senior league also plays softball league. Great schools and a very safe community with great law enforcement. Very well.
We have different ideas. We did agree on what we would consider the top three. Sports activities from youth to senior, school district, and not just the public school district, but also as mentioned was the private school offerings were absolutely solid also. And third is shopping, transportation, and food. Me and my partner are here from Bud Street tonight. We're excited about this group, we're excited about the process, and we'd love to offer to provide refreshments at the next meeting. Please take all of the papers, put them in the center of the table, leave them there. I will go through it and read all of these, so I can make sure your name is on them. That's telling me that there's something here. I go through all of those, so I can hear all your individual voices. But as we go through this, I know a larger feeling that I love for all the threads. Just tonight, it's not magic. I heard several times several about the school activities, the school districts, the sports, the centralized location, the safety, that feeling of safety and security here, clean and safe. A lot of these common threads come up over and over and over. So as we go through this process, I'll be asking different questions to start to hear common threads. As we go through this process, those threads may be captured, which will form a teacher that was outside with their students. Based on community needs. I'm going to be handing out 2 more questions. Another question. This time it's going to be either a yellow sheet of paper or a white sheet of paper. Please put your name at the top of this. This question are, what are the issues or trends that may be negatively impacting those community characteristics and should be considered as part of this Parks and Recreation Master Plan? We just went around and talked about the safety of the city, the central location, the restaurants, clean, safe areas. We also heard elements such as the equestrian facility that may or may not be known, the sports class, nature, the school district. What issues or trends may be negatively impacting those important community characteristics, and we should take a look at them as part of this master plan. Individual exercise first. Individual thoughts first. No looking at chairs. We'll take 5 minutes for this.
Knocking with what?
Another couple minutes, another couple minutes. As you guessed, through volunteers, you may pass the torch to a new volunteer. And then if you would please, come up with your groups. Top three issues or trends that are negatively impacting these community characteristics that we should look at as part of this Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Top three, please.
I was doing your 1, 2, 3, and then I didn't realize
And how are we doing for time? 7:30? 7:30? I'm nail 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So one last roll from this play. Perfect. Great. Those kids were amazing.
Well, when they were checking in, they're not, we're supposed to give a speech. And I'm like, you are? Okay.
It's hard to see the other kids.
I know.
It's like, it's not going to hurt anything.
I was like, are you sure this is the right place? And I was like, yeah. It's so amazing.
I thought she was going to be sitting, she actually waited until the end. She hit the person in front of her. She stole the show.
And I talked about the whole system. So, trying to ask, you want to something it's really
Let's go ahead and start with, before here, let's start with group H. If you can please tell me, what are your top 3 issues that are affecting those community characteristics we just talked about?
Everyone, please be quiet so we can hear her.
Speak a little louder. Our second one was vandalism. Our third one is park maintenance and safety.
Can you repeat one?
Underfunded for parks and rec programs. Thank you.
All right, group number 7, what are your top 3 here?
The discussion was things that could negatively impact this project, right? So, personal finance and budget, how far can the money go, what projects selected. Planning, and right now, the planning is great actually, right? We got websites, we have 3 meeting days, we have a lot of representation, but the conversation was execution. To see it all the way through, not stopping at a certain point, but seeing the whole plan come to fruition. And then last was public park safety with the homeless concern also as we look at doing this. How are we going to address potential homeless issues as well as just safety at potentially beautiful new facilities.
Perfect. Let's go to group 6. Our volunteer here, please.
We're gonna there's not enough maintenance staff to care for our current parks. Lack of tennis court and pickleball court, and no working or drinking fountains at most parks that goes to us, visit, and I'm sure knows everybody on this. There are no wild working around.
Number one that came up was park underused in the school, some parks not being open to the public, or the soccer came up, sportsplex came up. Also, not in the pickleball courts. And also the equestrian center that's there, the city chooses to keep it open, but we clean it up a little bit, and we bring some events to it. Next one that came out was the issues with no downtown. There's no downtown plan. There's a lack of engagement to really develop that area to downtown. And the last one issue that is city finances of money.
Okay, wonderful. Let's get your
Somebody just got volunteered. Volunteer. Thank you very much.
I'm very shy. Alright, so what we came up with was a lot of what we're doing at Costa Rica, just to get the safety issues, both with the physical structure safety as well as just the homeless, the presence of the homeless, the safety can be very related to damage, the lights not being on, which invites things to come out in the dark that we don't want there, so definitely for safety. Outdated and old parks and facilities, and us and others here too, were just, it's old, it needs repaired, it needs money for repairs and improvements, and then we've got some of the underused facilities, not just not being known, but also just not being fully made known across not just this city too. That's the thing I was thinking is that I get stuff from Laverne saying, hey, these are our activities. I don't know why, but I do, and if we could expand like the mailings or something like that, so it reaches out, because it's, I feel like we're missing stuff, but just maybe.
Wonderful. Let's give Group 4 a round of applause. Group 1 next. Go ahead, Group 1.
Nobody can hear me. A lot of bars echo what the girls had. Actually, the need for parking, especially the Cameron Park, when they have different events, like softball games and stuff. It's very hard to get parking. Number 2 is the underutilization of parks, especially the sports complex. It has to be more accessible to other sporting groups to use. And number 3 is the need for more funding, especially for maintenance, specifically the dog park. It's run down, and the wish is to have dog bags. A lot of walks.
So our top 3 were lack of diverse park programming. So we talked about how we have 16 parks, we have a lot of green space, we have a lot of amenities, but the programming can be improved. So if we don't have programming, our parks sometimes are quiet, not used, not activated. So good examples for Ridge Rider Center, we can have more activities related to horse riding, we can have educational programs about plant use, awareness about biodiversity, all the plant life we have in the city. Number 2 was unhoused, addressing that, like everyone else said, that's a big component to, or a threat to making sure our parks thrive. And 3 is lack of community awareness. A few groups talked about this already, letting everyone know what's going on, lack of community awareness in the community itself among residents, and also lack of cohesiveness in residents and the city leadership.
All right. Well, let's give Group 2 a round of applause. Last but not least, Group number 2.
Okay, yeah. Actually, that was my wife over there on number 1 that did it. And it was, good job. It seemed like we had a simpatico going because she said exactly what we had. Number 1 thing for any park is safety. Without being safe, nobody wants to come to it. If nobody comes to it, then you don't have a really good community park. So I think safety was the number 1 issue for us. Number 2 was cleanliness. It kind of goes along with safety, but it has to be clean. If it's not, if the trash isn't picked up on a daily basis, then when you go there, it's gonna feel a little dirty. And you don't want your kids around those things either. And the last thing is similar to what Group 1 said, I think some other people said, is parking, but really we called it access. Access for our community to be able to go to it. And I think some people over there said there were some access issues at the sportsplex, things like that. You know, that is our park, but we don't have access to it. That makes absolutely no sense. And then parking for the people that are around the park, because to be honest, the park is for everybody, especially for people that are around the park, right? I live not too far away from here, and if the parking was an issue, that would really not make me feel good about the park. So I think we really have to be stewards of the park and the people that live around the park, because
they are part of the park, to be honest, right? And so I think that's a really important thing that we have to make sure that we consider as we move on.
Excellent. Let's give group 2 a round of applause. As we go through, I heard a lot of people actually mention, oh, just like that group, just like that group. Oh, we had just like that thing over there. That's not magic. That's community. When the community comes together in forms like this, where you share your ideas, you share your thoughts, you recreate here. You live here, you work here, you play here. This is where you spend your lives. No doubt we're going to have commonalities. We're going to see some of those same things that we heard. The safety, the cleanliness, the access of areas, the diversity of parks. Making sure there's adequate funding, making sure the plan is carried through, making sure that we have plenty of maintenance, building up on that safety. These are the threads that will start to create that fabric. So now, as we begin this process, this journey, I can start to see where your ideas are going to go, where they are rooted now, what you like about the community, what some of those issues are. The last question I have, the last question I have tonight is, what role can the city of West Covina play in addressing these issues to support those community characteristics that make the city a great place to live, work, and play? What role can the city do to address these issues to support our great community characteristics? We're going to pass around this sheet of paper. Please put all the
I'm doing it too. I'm like, can I go back?
5 minutes for these again. Consensus. 5 minutes for the individual. Just go to me and Christian. First time. Is that I'm fine with that. They don't
Where to, how it's written out.
Anything goes. I got like a goldfish memory. But I read all of them. I'll put your remote on there. Don't get your remote. No, don't give me your remote. No. You should read it. I don't post it. Don't write your social security number or any As we're all working on that individual question, raise your hand if you have not signed in. I only use this to invite you back to the next workshop. That's it. Is everybody signed in? Okay. Perfect. Ready?
Got an angry woman that flustered me.
What's that?
Got an angry woman that flustered me. I don't know. Over there, she's like, "What do you mean all of the citizens have to do something? It's kind of a given what they should do." And I'm like, "We want to hear your ideas." She's like, "That's not really an idea. I'm just, it's kind of obvious from the other questions what they should do." I'm like, "Well, you can just repeat it. You can say, fix the drinking fountains. Build airports."
You have to write the group numbers on them. would like to do the last round of presentations. So I'm going to put group number 2 on the spot and ask them to present their top 3 ideas of what role the city can do in order to address the issues or trends that are negatively impacting those community characteristics we heard tonight. Go ahead, group 2.
Hi, we put better communication / leadership, appropriate funding allocations, and better oversight of contractors.
We agree with.
We're dealing with all that.
No copy, no copy out for neighbors. All right, group 1.
One, being receptive to the residents' needs.
Yeah, hear you.
Being receptive to the residents' needs.
And then providing leadership to accomplish all of these projects and funding.
All right, providing leadership to accomplish the projects as well as funding. Let's give a round of applause for group number 1. Number 4, if you would please, your top 3.
Create a plan and follow it. And one of the things he said, don't just push out the homeless to other areas. Continue community engagement like this. And be more and all age groups. And this one just combine like one of the things all together. Listen to the residents. Budget, take care of what we value.
Yeah, I want to. All right, group number 3.
Alright, so first, balance the budget. Transparency and fiscal responsibility. Prioritize police and fire. City beautification, focus on native plants and use graffiti cleanup. And as far as leadership, there must be cohesiveness, communication, intentionality, especially when listening to what the residents need and want, true collaboration, and action.
I just want to point out how nice this writing is. Did you have a stencil? I mean, it's all about my writing. Let's go over here, group number 6. Next.
Funding, we're doing transparency, and then we just got a question for implementation. It's gonna be nice to have a nice binder that's about this thick and sit on a city shelf somewhere. You know, fix the problems and implement what's going on the rest of the time.
Group 5.
Real similar to what everyone else talked about, we have careful allocation of funding. We make all the plans, we do all those consulting, and then we move up to the actual project. No way to spend it like us on take the community input seriously, unlike we as we're going to put our input, possible is we want to see it done. And then lastly is maintain what we build, make a plan, whatever we build, also maintain it.
Very financially focused, because at the end of the day, it's all about the dollars. So we thought of strategic partnerships that the city can collaborate with corporations and law enforcement to implement all of the projects that are setting up. Second is setting up local dedicated funding for parks and recreation, and then to not put it all on just the local citizens, to seek additional state and federal and county funding for the project.
Ours has been mentioned before by other groups, but our group believe that the role of the city would be for financial planning and budgeting, for effective planning, and also listening to the community.
You see when we start to to get those common threads. Now that is the end of the questioning round for tonight. Before everybody leaves, I would like to hand out this gift. But if you have anything more, please go to westcovinaparksmasterplan.com, click on the feedback button. It goes straight to my team, Kristen and I. If you have questions and you want answers back to them, put in your email address in there, and we'll make sure that we go through and read everything on that. I have 3. Do I have any speakers?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Will all of these posters we need be listed on your website or somewhere? Will it be?
I take pictures of all of them, and then we actually transcribe and write them down. So as we go through, we'll have them in photographs. Yes, so everything gets right. What I don't put back up are the individual ones. You write whatever you want on those to me, whether you like my jokes or not. That's okay. If
Do
you
you
want to
also
suggest.
take the input that's on these?
Yes.
We had to narrow down to 3 of them.
No, I read all of these to make sure I got all of the individual voices. So please leave all your papers on the table. They have to have a name on it, otherwise it looks like it got made up. Please make sure your names and group numbers are on them. Do I have any of our speakers left? They all went home? They had to go back to school. Okay. Yes.
So how different are your next meetings, your next workshops supposed to be? I know you're asking that we come back,
Please.
but are we gonna go through the same scenario here again?
We're gonna have different questions for each workshop.
Okay.
Different questions each workshop. I might have dots one night. No? Nobody's done a dot workshop? All right. Okay, so the dots are dot workshops. So I'm going to take 3, only 3, because I'm going for 3. This is a thank you from me to you. You spent several hours with me here tonight. I really, really appreciate it. As a token of my thanks to you, I'm going for 3. This is not part of the city budget. This is not part of a reimbursement. This is just something RJM does at our workshops to show our appreciation. I have 3 $50 Amazon gift cards to hand out. I will take only 3 winning tickets in here. Must be present.
Right.
1, 2, the last one. 1, 3. All right. The first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, Beagle.
That's mine.
Big camera.
I had the same competition with my luggage. Okay, I was the first one. 8, 7, 5, 1, 7, 0. All right, come on up. Come on up. Thank you. 8, 7, 5. Yes. 1, 6, 9. Pick them up. All right, last one of the evening. 8, 7, 5, 0, 6, 6. And that, okay, come on back. I really, truly appreciate all of your input tonight. Please tell your friends, tell your neighbors. I look forward to seeing everybody